Welcome to What to Pair, your no-frills guide for pairing food and wine. What do I mean by that? Well, basically I take a food and match it up with 5 wines that I think will give you your greatest enjoyment with the food and wine pairing. And then, as you can see below, I have my listings for butter chicken, which we are covering today. And then on the next slide, I give you some basic pointers on why I feel this food and wine pairing works. Butter chicken and wine pairing is a little difficult because you don't get that historical evolution between Indian cuisine and wine like you do in regions of Italy or France or Spain. In these regions, for example, like Italy, food was modified, with herbs and spices and components to kind of match up with the wine. So in Italy, you tend to get very acidic wines because they use a lot of tomatoes in Italian dishes, and the wine's a little more earthier because they use earthier spices in their food as well. In India, you didn't have this happening over the centuries. Their spices, which they're famous for, don't exactly go with wine because wine wasn't modified over the years of people's preferences to exactly go with that. However, I'd also say Indian cuisine has also been Americanized in North America, and I put Americanized in quotes. Obviously, there are authentic Indian restaurants who serve traditional styles of Indian food, but there's other instances where you can get Indian food that's been, toned down for American or North American or regional tastes. And those versions match up, I would say, a little easier with wine. So first up, we have Chardonnay and butter chicken, and I give this 4.5 out of 5 stars. Your standardized basic version of butter chicken is creamy. It's a little spicy. It's got earthy notes, I would say. And with your oak Chardonnay, say somewhere from California, you will get typically a rich, full-bodied wine with buttery notes. So that buttery kind of flavor, it complements the rich, full-bodied nature of the butter chicken sauce. And then you get vanilla and coconut flavors from the oakiness of the Chardonnay, and that complements the spices you might find in your butter chicken. You also get tropical flavors like pineapple, mango. Sometimes you get a bit of citrus, sometimes you get a bit of apple, and those are acidic flavors, and that helps cleanse your palate. So butter chicken, it clogs your mouth, with the sauce, it clogs your mouth, your taste buds. The acidity of Chardonnay comes in and it kind of whisks that all out, so each bite tastes as fresh as the next. Our next pairing is Grenache Blanc and butter chicken, and I give this 4 out of 5 stars. Grenache Blanc, it's a little harder to find, so I kind of knock off half a star here. And it has notes of green apple, pear, lime, and peach. Again, you get that acidity, which electrifies the butter chicken flavors. It makes them stand out. It gets in there and makes those herbs and spices kind of just stand out a little more, come up to the forefront. It also gets behind the chicken notes and brings those forward. Grenache Blanc also has a spicy kind of herbal and mineral finish that stands up to the curry. So if you have a spicier curry, Grenache Blanc is a white wine that will kind of stand up to it. It doesn't get overwhelmed by the curry spices used in your butter chicken. It also has acidity, which makes it a crisp wine. And again, that just washes the flavors of the butter chicken out of your mouth, so you're left with a clean slate before your next bite. Now, Grenache Blanc is very high in alcohol compared to other white wines in a lot of cases, so it's not good with hotter butter chicken because when you combine alcohol with hotter spices, it just makes things taste like fire, and that's just not pleasant. So you want this with more mild butter chicken versions. Next up, we have Rosé and butter chicken pairing, and I give this 4 out of 5 stars. Rosé, to a lot of people, they think it is, based on appearances, a sweeter wine, but it is not. It's very dry, and I would select with butter chicken a medium-bodied rosé that has lots of acidity. So you want something with, some body to it to hold up to the spices, but again, you don't want anything too high in alcohol. You want a crisp rosé with a lot of flavors of lime and lemon and, hints of red fruit like strawberry. That is dry, just to cut through the creaminess of butter chicken. And if you have a hotter version, I would go more towards a sparkling rosé, maybe with a touch of sweetness, just to put out that fire. And when you put out that fire, it allows you to taste the spices that kind of you don't normally notice before because you're kind of gasping for air. Next up, we have Lambrusco and butter chicken, and I give this 4 out of 5 stars. So you want to select a medium-bodied Lambrusco again with a bit of tannin just to tackle that chicken component, that protein component in your butter chicken. A Lambrusco generally has blueberry and black currant notes, so fruity notes, and they're refreshing. And it's slightly fizzy, so those bubbles, they cut through the richness and the heat of your butter chicken. It's also low in alcohol, so you can kind of put this up against hotter versions of butter chicken. Finally, my fifth pairing is Zinfandel and butter chicken, and I give this 3.5 out of 5 stars. You want a medium-bodied Zinfandel that is, I would say, slightly sweet. You don't want anything too sweet. I just kind of like sweet with butter chicken, as again, I like my butter chicken a little hotter, so I find the sweetness just makes it more tastier with the wine, because that sweetness kind of cuts into the heat. Again, with the Zinfandel, those sweet flavors, they might complement the sweeter spices also found in your butter chicken, which might exist depending on what you throw in there. Zinfandel also has like a smoky edge, I find. It's got like a smokiness that I love, and I find that complements the earthy notes found in your butter chicken, plus the slow-cooked chicken notes as well. So there are my 5 pairings. Until next time, cheers.